The NFL has a problem, or NFL fans have a problem, of overlooking the impact of good coaching. Nick Sirianni, I saw this tweet about him from the franchise guy where he asked, this is a coach that has won a Super Bowl, but yet we don't know just how good of a coach he is. No bad coach goes far in the playoffs. Jason Garrett underachieved for several years with stacked rosters in Dallas. Bill O'Brien had a prime Deshaun Watson and DeAndre Hopkins along with TJ Watt and didn't go no further than the second round of the playoffs. If you have a poorly coached team, despite how talented the roster is, you're not going to go that far, because coaching is the difference. Once you get into the playoffs, you can win a Super Bowl with average quarterback play if you have a good head coach, but you can't win in the playoffs if you have an elite quarterback and a bad coach. When you get into these tight one-possession games late in the fourth quarter, coaching, the understanding of situational football becomes really important. Having a coach that can make the right coordinator hires also is a factor when it goes into these games. Nick Sirianni is a good CEO head coach. Just because he's not the brightest X's and O's coach like Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan doesn't mean that he does nothing at all. He gets the most out of these players. He gets these players ready to play. They love playing for Nick Sirianni. He was able to de-escalate the locker room tension between Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown. He was able to keep the morale of the team high. Nick Sirianni has one of the highest winning percentages out of any head coach in the NFL right now. He's like top 5, top 3. What does Nick Sirianni do? The answer is simple. He wins. He was the one who suggested Mekhi Becton moving from offensive tackle to guard, and that paid off. He was the one who lured Vic Fangio from Miami to Philadelphia, and that was one of the biggest moves that the Eagles made that helped them win the Super Bowl this past year. He hired Kellen Moore when he was perceived to not be that good as a play caller after how left things went for him in Dallas and with the Los Angeles Chargers. Nick Sirianni is good at bringing people together, bringing his team together, and being able to get the most out of what has been the most talented team in the NFL these last 2-3 years. Just because you have a stacked team doesn't guarantee you're going to win a Super Bowl. We have seen so many talented teams in the past come up short of expectations relative to what they have on paper because they were held back by poor coaching. Tom Brady wouldn't have had the amount of Super Bowls that he currently has in his hardware right now if he didn't have Bill Belichick as his head coach. Tom Brady didn't make Bill Belichick. They both needed each other to win. Bill Belichick assembled some of the greatest defenses in NFL history. He has been able to shut down the greatest show on turf. That Los Angeles Rams offense, the year they beat them in the Super Bowl and only held them to 3 points. They were averaging 30 points per game that year. That wasn't because of Tom Brady why those Patriots defenses were so good. It was because of the mastermind that Bill Belichick was. And with Tom Brady always coming through for the Patriots with the game on the line, that helped out Bill Belichick as well, because he knew that all his defense needed to do was get a stop, get the ball back to 12, and he was going to win the game for him. You can't win in today's NFL if you don't have good coaching, which is why it kind of annoys me when I see these tweets questioning the legitimacy of Nick Sirianni as a head coach. If Nick Sirianni wasn't a good coach, then why did Doug Peterson get fired? If anybody can win with the level of talent in Philadelphia, Doug Peterson should have been able to go back-to-back, just like we've seen Kansas City do recently. Kansas City isn't the most talented team, but they've been able to win 2 out of the last 3 Super Bowls because they have an elite head coach and an elite quarterback. But if Patrick Mahomes never got drafted by Andy Reid and he would have went to an organization like the Cleveland Browns that was poorly ran with poor coaching, he wouldn't have been the quarterback that he is today. We have to stop undermining good coaches. You have to be able to put your players in position to succeed. Players make plays, but coaches put players in the right spots to make those plays. Nick Sirianni is the most disrespected head coach in the NFL because in spite of him continuing to win, going to 2 Super Bowls, winning one of them, you still have folks in the media that question how good of a coach he is. What does he do? Nick Sirianni wins. That's what he does, and that's the only thing that matters. He doesn't need to be some wizard on the whiteboard. He doesn't need to be a defensive or offensive guru. All he needs is to be able to get the most out of the Philadelphia Eagles roster, and that's what he's done. Having a talented team has made it a lot easier for him, no doubt, but every team that's in the Super Bowl conversation has a talented squad. There's no team that goes to the Super Bowl with a below-average roster. You need to have good players to win. You don't necessarily need to have a great quarterback to win, but you do need to have a lot of high-level players at other positions in order to go deep in the playoffs. But just because you have a talented team, like we've seen with the master clapper Jason Garrett for so many years doesn't mean that you're going to go far come playoff time. The coaching and the talent have to align. They have to complement each other. Because when they don't, that's how you end up getting teams that constantly go one and done or don't live up to the hype that they have in the preseason.